Hi, welcome to Healthy Food, Happy You. I'm your host, Gina Lewis, and here on the show, our goal is to show you the benefits of a well-planned, whole foods, plant-based diet. Today, we're going to have guest Dr. Damon Jones. She's a naturopathic physician, author, speaker, educator, pretty much everything. Hi, Dr. Day, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me today.
Thank you for being here. So you are going to show us how to make a Bok Choy Stir Fry?
I am. I really love making quick meals, particularly because a lot of my patients will say that they've had long days, and when they come home, they just want something quick that tastes really good that the family will eat.
Absolutely.
And so this is an example of how you can make something very quick, very tasty, and you can get your whole family to eat it.
I can get my whole family to eat carrots and bok choy.
Yes, you can get your whole family to eat carrots and bok choy.
Show me this.
Okay. So we're going to start with just cutting up an onion, because onions are really powerful foods when you think about boosting your immune system. They have things in them that are considered really important to stimulate the immune system and help keep you well.
I can believe that.
Yeah.
As soon as you taste them, you're like, this is doing something.
You smell them and you already know. You're like, wow, something must be happening.
Something's going on.
This is very powerful. So you just want to chop them up into smaller pieces, particularly if you have younger kids. They don't like to see lots of vegetables sometimes.
That's true.
So
this is a tricky dish that your kids won't know their yummy goodness in there.
Yeah, you want to, and particularly onions, because they have such a pungent smell to them, if you can cut them up in little pieces, they start to actually get sweet when you cook them.
Yeah, I've heard that. And actually, my 10-year-old daughter loves to chop onions. She is my onion chopper.
Oh, good.
So if you're a mom with crazy kids running around your house, enlist their help. And a lot of times that helps them enjoy the meal, want the meal more. It's like a mommy trick.
That's perfect because I really think that kids need to be more involved with their foods. They need to understand what their foods are.
That's true. What is food?
What is food,
Yes.
right? And when you get them involved in cooking, they get more interested and they get more used to the smells and the taste. And it may take a few times before you actually get them to try it and like it, or not dislike it, right?
Keep putting it out there.
Yeah, it's really important. So if you could turn on our skillet. So this is not really a traditional stir fry in that we're not using a wok, but a lot of people don't have a wok, and so you can use a skillet. And then we're just going to add a little bit of olive oil, maybe a tablespoon of our olive oil.
What heat should we have the skillet on?
No more than a medium is probably good.
Okay.
One of the things I really like about this dish, this bok choy stir fry, and you can find the exact recipe on my website in my book, which is called Daylicious Recipes for Vibrant Living.
Daylicious.
It's so embarrassing. My editor was like, no, you have to play off your name.
I love it.
But it seems really
D-A-E-licious, right?
It's a little confusing
it's
sometimes.
Fun, cute.
So I'm gonna have you take all of our onions, and I'm gonna have you just go ahead and just
dump them in.
If you were at home, you could use, whatever type of cutting board is going to be the best cutting board for you. And when I actually go out and cook at other people's houses, or if I am cooking like we are today, I just use a really flexible one to make it really easy.
Yeah, very easy.
So I'm going to have you stir that around.
My favorite job.
Yes, and we're going to just kind of let it all just kind of start to cook down a little bit. And then we're going to add our secret ingredients, which are not really that secret, but we have some garlic, which you can add whenever you're ready.
Okay.
And then you can add a little bit of ginger.
So this is fresh garlic.
This is fresh garlic that I chopped up. I always recommend chopping up fresh garlic and letting it sit for about 10 minutes before you actually add it to your food, so that you can make sure that all of the immune boosting, because allium is found in both onions and it's also found in garlic. So they're kind of like cousins to each other.
Allium.
Allium is a phytonutrients. So when we talk about plant-based foods, why should we eat them? Well, they have nutrients that you're not going to find in animal-based foods. And allium is an example of something that you find in the onion family, you find in garlic. It actually is really supportive of stimulating the immune system, which is really important in the winter. We're talking about colds and flus, and we want to kind of not be sick, then we want to make sure that we're eating a lot of this. If you are in a situation where you're working with cancer or cancer patients, I work with them a lot. Again, their immune system is compromised. And so getting them, as they can tolerate, to eat onions and garlic, that allium that's found in there, the quercetin that's found in there, these are all things that are really supportive of the immune system.
Healing.
Yes.
I love this. So the standard American diet, bacon for breakfast, let's see, chicken nuggets for lunch and hamburger for dinner. Not gonna give you these nutrients.
Not gonna give you
not so much.
those nutrients.
Got to get some veggies.
Got to get
diet.
veggies.
Yes.
The USDA suggests that we do 10 servings of fruits and vegetables a day.
That sounds like a lot.
It sounds like a lot, and it really is not a lot. And one of the things I work with my patients is helping them understand that if you're doing cooked foods, this container that we have right here is actually about a half cup, maybe a little bit more. So a serving size in this is cooked foods, like once we finish, if we put a half of a cup in here, that would be 1 serving size.
Okay.
And people usually eat more than this small little amount.
Yeah, and they think that's 1 serving, so I think that's why it sounds so much, as we aren't familiar with those serving sizes.
So in a meal, you might be eating 2 or 3 serving
Crying
sizes.
a little.
Okay, I know. I don't want you to cry. It'll all be worth it in the end.
It's so true, and it smells so good.
So the next thing I'm gonna show you is garlic, because garlic is in there. Ginger is actually what I want to show you. Ginger, when you are buying it at the store, this is a little trick. If it looks shiny, and I don't know if you can see the shininess here.
Yeah, I see it.
If you see how shiny it is, that means that it's really fresh and it's at the peak of freshness.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is the ginger. I took the ginger. And it's very grainy. You see how this is there's lots of threads in it?
Right.
And so if you want a uniform taste with ginger, it's always better to grate it up so that you can have that taste all the way through your meal. I'm gonna cut the carrots and I'm gonna add them next. Carrots take a little while to soften.
Okay.
So you don't want them soggy, but you do want them actually cooked through a little bit. One of the things that I love about carrots, each one of these plant-based foods, I'm gonna give you at least one thing that's really supportive for you, is that it has a lot of beta carotene. It gives it that beautiful orange color, and that is a prerequisite for something that's known as vitamin A. Vitamin A is really important for our ability to repair our cells.
Okay.
So anytime we need to repair our cells, we need vitamin A. So we always want to make sure that we're eating lots of different colors of the rainbow, because they're going to give us lots of different vitamins and nutrients. And you get those colors of the rainbow from plant-based foods.
Not sprinkles, not cupcake sprinkles?
Not cupcake sprinkles.
Because that's what my daughter says. Look, Mom, I have colors. No, honey.
They'll roll right in.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
These mats are so convenient. Sometimes you can, do the little trick where you kind of bend them and everything slides down the center.
Exactly. And so the next ingredient that we're going to add is the bok choy itself. So bok choy is a green leafy vegetable. It's a member of the cabbage family. It's actually considered a cruciferous vegetable.
Okay.
Say that 5 times
Cruciferous
fast.
vegetable while playing drinking games.
I know. And
Water drinking games, people. Water. Because that's all you drink on a healthy diet. I'm just kidding.
Every once in a while,
Fermented grapes, they're good for you.
Exactly. A little bit of resveratrol.
It's plant-based.
Yeah. The more medical studies they do on the cruciferous vegetable family, so we're talking about kale and collard greens and bok choy and cabbage and Brussels sprouts, they're finding more and more anti-cancer properties. Then these are, good examples of how you can use food as a way of you healing
your body. So important. I know so many people that are struggling with breast cancer, skin cancer. So I shove as many cruciferous vegetables down as I possibly can. I don't want my family to go through that. Anything I can do to prevent it or try and prevent it is worth a shot.
Absolutely. So that's why these are really great. One of the things that I really like to use bok choy for is I like scrambling it up in the morning, along with, you could do a little bit of tofu in the morning. and I would add, you know, some of this.
Yeah.
So that not only am I getting a plant base from the soy, that I also am getting a little bit of broccoli as well.
Yeah.
So you can actually use them for different meals out of the day.
Can you eat this plain?
You could eat it plain. I generally cook it. I generally like cooked foods. But yeah, you could chop it up and add it to a salad.
You know what? I love this plain.
Do you?
That's how I get most of my vegetables and fruits in, is I'm a snacker.
Okay.
And I don't want to just reach for chips or a box of crackers or candy bars.
Right.
So I snack on fruits and veggies all day long.
That's a great idea.
Alrighty, when we come back, these onions should be nice and ready, and we're gonna add some chickpeas and bok choy. See you in a bit.
For years, scientists have explored remote corners of the earth, searching for exotic substances that might help prevent cancer. At last, man has discovered a secret place where powerful remedies can actually be found. Medical research shows that a vegetarian diet rich in fruits, vegetables, and whole grains can help prevent many types of cancer. Wherever you live, cancer prevention is as close as your grocery store. To learn more, call 866-906-WELL.
So we're going to take chickpeas. I'm going to have you add the chickpeas in. And these chickpeas were actually canned, and one of the things that one of my friends, who is an author and a chef, Rebecca Katz, she says that if you are going to use canned beans, one of the things you can do is pour out all the juice that they come in, and then just add a little spritz of lemon to them before you use them in whatever you're cooking, and it kind of livens up the flavor so they don't feel like they're canned anymore.
Nice.
So I thought that that was just really a great idea.
These little tricks.
I also tell people that as part of their pantry, so when I was creating my book, one of the reasons why I created it is because I had patients who said, you know, healthy food is not going to taste good, which is not true.
No, not true.
And so I started doing cooking demonstrations like this on your show to teach people how to cook healthy foods. And then from that, I started to notice that setting up a pantry, a list of pantry items for people was very helpful. So they know what should be in their pantry all the time so that they could cook something really quickly.
Love it.
And so canned beans are a great thing to have in your pantry. Black beans, white beans, cannoli beans, chickpeas, because they have a lot of fiber in them, and fiber is actually very important to the detoxification process, which we're going to talk about a little bit later.
Yeah,
but
so
it's
definitely stay tuned for that. We're going to be talking all about detoxification. Alrighty, so we are going to add our detoxifying bok choy.
That's right. And so I'm going to just add it in. And you see how much it is right now, and you'll see what happens as it cooks down.
It'd be funny if it was just like, gone. You're like, ah.
Sometimes I feel like that.
It's magic. Do I just let it sit?
No, you're going to just kind of stir it around a little bit. Yeah.
Now,
so you get to the heat source.
You aren't using a wok. I noticed that.
Right. So I actually like using tongs.
Oh, thank you.
Would that be easier?
I think so.
Those are my favorite kitchen tools, is tongs.
You never know what I'm gonna do in the kitchen. I've had some serious mishaps.
Tongs can help with almost anything. So the last thing we're doing is we're just gonna take a couple minutes and we're gonna let the bok choy actually get nice and warm and wilt just a little bit. And then the final step of this whole process is just adding a little bit of sesame oil, which gives it a nice little flavor over the top once we're finished cooking. Now, we didn't use the sesame oil because the sesame oil actually doesn't do very well cooking at high temperature. So really what we want to do is we want to make sure that once it's done, we add it for flavoring instead of using it as our main cooking oil, which we use olive oil instead. So what I really love about this dish or any other dish, the very first time I made this dish, I actually made it at a farmer's market.
Oh,
so I was on a hot plate.
You can do this while camping.
That's exactly right.
You can have your wonderful detox on your camping trip.
So it really gave me an opportunity to make something that was very affordably priced. A lot of people talk about healthy eating has to be very expensive, and I don't think that that always has to be true. You can get a lot of these things, the carrots, for example, the onions, the garlic, you can get them locally, so you don't have to necessarily get organic. Oftentimes you can get local farmers may be able to do very sustainable types of farming where they're not using a lot of pesticides, so it doesn't have to be super expensive. And in the summer, at least in the Washington, D.C. area, there are so many different farmers markets.
So many resources in this area.
So you can support local farmers as well as supporting yourself by eating in a very healthy and very tasty way. So I really like that. And so I was working at a farmer's market, and what they happened to have was bok choy. And so I brought some chickpeas, and they had carrots, and they had bok choy, and they had garlic, and they had ginger, and onions. And so this really came out of what they had at the farmer's market. So that was really kind of a wonderful thing. And as we kind of talked about before, I'm going to get in there for just a second and see if I can kind of help get it down into the bottom so that we can get ready to
get in there, bok choy.
Yeah, I know. It takes a minute, but you can see it's starting to change colors. It's starting to become more of that Kelly green color.
Yeah, I see
that. So when we start seeing the Kelly green color, we know that the bok choy is getting cooked.
Also really good for your kids to watch this process as it happens. Just a good life learning experience. And to keep them calm instead of running around the house, burning down the place while you're trying to just make a freaking dinner, okay?
I think they would like to actually play with the tongs is what I've seen.
Yeah, exactly.
And depending on how crafty you can be with them, you actually might be able to let them, depending on their age.
Yeah.
Because we are on a stove, so we don't want to have kids that are too young get too close to a hot stove.
Agreed. No nasty grams to the show. I let my 5-year-olds cook some bok choy on the stove.
No, that would be a smoothie. Would probably be better for them.
That's true.
Which can be very easily made with plant-based, doing
getting
vegetables
those grapes together or whatever.
So we're just going to let that cook down for a minute, and then once it's cooked down, it's all done.
Alrighty. Well, you brought some quinoa.
I did.
In for us to pair this with as well.
Yes. So I'll tell you a little bit about when I made this dish. If you wanted to, you could just eat it just the way that it is. What I find is, I know, and I do too, but a lot of people like to have whole grains, or they like to have grains, and I'd like them to actually eat whole grains when they're eating.
Okay.
So I try to give suggestions like brown rice. You could serve this with brown rice. You can serve this with quinoa, and so I brought a little quinoa because that's actually a whole grain that actually has a good source of protein. And if people don't want to be eating the same grain all the time, you can start mixing and matching your grains. I put a little whole grain on our plates, so as soon as our meal is finished, we can actually just kind of put it really nicely on top of that, and then we can sit down and, you know, eat it.
Yes. So several things about this. I know it's about the size of a fist.
Yes.
That you put on there.
Absolutely.
Typically when you go get some Chinese food, it's all rice and a little bit of veggies on top. Not the way you want to eat. And Americans, in our typical American diet, we've gotten so far from how you're supposed to eat.
Yes.
We don't even realize serving sizes. So our bellies have gotten used to the full plate of rice.
Yes, that's right.
A little bit of veggies. So you want about a fistful.
That's perfect.
And then
we're going to put about 50% of our plate would be well served if it had fruits and vegetables on it. So in this case, we have vegetables, so we're going to have that, and it's going to take up the rest of the plate, basically, and that would be considered a good portion size. And the thing about everything in here, anything that's plant-based has fiber in it, and fiber makes you feel full. And so the idea is that even though it may not seem like you would be full from looking at the plate, when you actually eat it, you actually end up feeling fuller than you thought.
Agreed. A lot of people say, oh gosh, I'm always so full after eating Chinese food, and then an hour later I'm hungry again. That's okay. Eat some more. All right, well, we are going to let this heat up a little bit more, add it to our plate, and we'll be at the table to talk more about Dr. Day's detox and how it can benefit you. And we'll see you in a few minutes. Welcome back to Healthy Food, Happy You with Dr. Day. This looks delicious. Thank you so much. So, you are a naturopathic physician.
Yes.
How do you heal with food?
So, one of the things that we learned in school is that all the nutritious components of different types of food. So when I'm working with patients, we think about chronic illness and disease, which is over 70% of Americans are dealing with some chronic illness. That food is usually, and lifestyle is part of what they can use to help them heal themselves. So I work with patients, like if I'm working with a diabetic patient, then I'm going to teach them how to balance their blood sugars through the foods that they're eating. And of course, one of the best ways for anyone to eat healthy is a plant-based whole foods diet. So that's one of the ways that I use food to help people heal.
That makes sense. You say, you know, balance those blood sugars. It's not about popping a pill. It's about the way you eat. And it's really centered around what you put in your body.
Absolutely.
Makes perfect sense.
Yep.
So it's March, Women's Health Month, and it's also during the time of Lent, so a lot of people are in a detox. They're giving up something. Some people have considered it. Other people are like, not for me. Why is detox important?
Well, I do detox with almost all of my patients because, yes, detoxification, it is important, and it's something that we do naturally. Every single day, we are getting rid of toxins from our bodies.
Chocolate. Detox.
Well, you know, chocolate has some good components too.
That's right.
But when we talk about detoxification, really we're talking about getting rid of waste products from our body, and what's the most efficient way to do that. And so things like drinking water, when you start drinking enough water every day, you're detoxing. And people don't understand that. Easy enough. Yeah. When you have a plant-based diet and you're eating 8 to 10 servings of fruit and vegetables every day, if you weren't doing that before and you start doing that now, that's a detoxification process. I think people often associate fasting with detoxification, which is a type of detoxification. It's not the only one. People associate taking lots of herbs that make them have to go to the bathroom and kind of eliminate toxins as a detox. And some people can get really concerned about doing things like that.
Well, that brings up a good point. Is it safe for everyone to do a detox?
Well, again, as a physician, I always think that you should, before you do a detox, consult your health practitioner. Okay. When I'm working with patients, if they're on certain medications, if they have certain types of illnesses, I might modify what their detoxification plan will be to make sure that they can do it in a very healthy way. And the other thing I want to say about detox, people generally think about detox and they think about food. But when you change your food habits, it can be an emotional experience.
Oh, I know. So tell me about it.
So if people are doing a detox, whenever I work with them, I want to do a holistic detox. So absolutely, food is going to be the foundation. Yes. But we're going to talk about our emotions. We're going to talk about the relationships we're in. Yes. So detoxification is an entire process of helping you heal, not just physically, but spiritually and emotionally as well. One of the things I tell people to do when they're doing a detox, do not watch the news 24/7.
That's a good point. It's pretty bad. I'm eating healthier right now, which is part of a detox. You know, the holidays are over. I have some big dance auditions coming up, so I need to be in the best shape possible.
Absolutely.
But I am mad at everyone. I am absolutely angry at people at work and my family because I have to eat, you know, as disciplined as possible.
Well, some of that is when you start getting rid of toxins, if you think about the idea of detoxification, the toxins, if they're in your tissues, they have to get into your bloodstream and they have to get through your liver and your kidneys in order to get out of your body. So toxins are waste. They're things that are going to irritate you and make you not feel so good. So part of the detoxification process can be feeling a little bit more irritable. That's why it's important to make sure you're doing it in a safe way, to make sure you're conscious about what's going on, conscious about what is going on emotionally as well as physically for you, and make appropriate modifications.
So detoxifying everything at the same time, your emotions, what you watch on TV, your breathing, your eating, it all goes hand in hand for a healthy.
Absolutely. on my website at healthydays.org, we talk about, I have different articles that people can go to and see what I'm talking about. Talk about spiritual detoxification, emotional detoxification. I have audio tapes. So I want to make, and I have my book, for example, which has detoxification recipes in it. So I try to give people as many different pieces as they need in order to be successful. And they can reach me for any patient care. If they're interested, they can call me. I do Skype visits and phone
I love
visits.
that. So you can be anywhere in the world and get the support that you need.
Absolutely.
So this does have detox recipes in it as well.
Yes, absolutely. And you can see the key at the bottom.
Yeah.
I set it up so if you need to do blood sugar balancing, or you need to do heart health or anti-inflammatory or dairy-free or vegan or detoxification, the key on the bottom says that this recipe refers to how to do that. And I would say about most of the recipes are very simple, easy to prepare.
And I love your website. I looked through it last night. You have a blog, you have Facebook, Twitter.
Yes.
You are so easy to reach.
Tweet me at Dr. Day.
Tweet Dr. Day. So really, if you're looking for support at any time, you make yourself readily available and have all those resources available.
Absolutely.
I love that. Group classes, get your girlfriends together.
That's a great idea.
I love it, yes.
That's a great idea.
Love it. And contact Dr. Day and she will change your life. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
I'm excited about digging into this. And join us next time for Healthy Food, Happy You. Look us up on Facebook. Look Dr. Day up. Share with us your experiences. And we look forward to hearing from you. See you next time.